Hi everyone, welcome to this video, which is called 5 Common Questions for Chromatic Harmonica Players, Part 3. And the first question is, do you have any warm-up routine? My answer to that is yes and no. Sometimes when there is time, I love to warm up. If there is no time, I don't have time to warm up. But one of the things that I really enjoy doing as a warm-up is taking a diatonic harmonica and then a metronome, and then I put a timer for like 5 to 10 minutes, and then I find like a nice breathing pattern, like just based on exhaling and inhaling. Can be like this. And so on. So I play those kind of rhythms and kind of play around with the timing and really feeling how everything feels that particular day. And it's really almost a bit meditating, I would say, to just sit and do these for like 5 minutes or something. And that really also opens up the breathing. But I also warm up on the chromatic, and then I often kind of just play and improvise slow things. So I don't play scales or long notes actually. I just take the harmonica and something, just improvise, because I really like that moment, the first time you meet your instrument for that day. Often pretty nice music can come out because I don't know, some good things happens. So either improvise very slowly, or I do this kind of rhythmic breathing warm-up. Question number 2 is, do you read sheet music on harmonica? How to learn that? Yes, I do, but I started just playing harmonica by ear, and I did that for maybe, the first years, 6-7 years or something. And then I wanted to get into music education, and I realized I have to learn how to read music properly. I could read chord charts and so, but not really, like music on a staff. So I remember I was in college then, and I took classical piano lessons, and the teacher, she said, I can teach you how to read music. Just do it every day for 3 weeks and you will be able to do it. And I said, okay, yeah. And then I did that, and then I learned it. And then I learned it first on piano, and then I could like translate that to harmonica. And then it's been just growing. And then I went into the Royal Academy of Music in Stockholm, and there I like read music every day. So then I was exposed to a lot of situations where I had to read. So I just learning by doing. But I think a good thing to do is that you have to remember that reading music is not a magical skill. It's not that hard actually. It's just really annoying in the beginning. But when you learn it, it's so worth it, because so much music opens up to you. You can grab any book and just play from that book. And that is really, really cool and a really, really good skill to have. And it will give you a lot. And I would also recommend, if you have played for a while and want to learn how to read, it's on the harmonica, it can be good to get beginner flute books, for a flute, because they share the same register. And really start with the beginner books, because then they often have a really good methods of learning how to read. And then you just translate the things in the score to the harmonica. And then I did that also, going through both flute books and clarinet books to learn how to read. But after a while those books gets a bit hard because those instruments, they play, as you know, all their notes in one long breath. So it's easier to play bigger arpeggios and bigger scales and stuff. That's really hard on the harmonica. But to really start out, I think it's really worth checking out beginner flute books. So I would really recommend you to seek out a harmonica teacher that knows how to read, and then get them to teach you how to read. Or you can, as I mentioned, try with flute books, because they often have a good method that you can use. Or you can, if you know how to read on another instrument, try to translate that to your instrument. Or you can, I think you are able to learn it online as well. I'm sure there are resources. And also you could incorporate 10 minutes of reading every day into your practice schedule, and that will give you a lot. Because reading, you really have to do it a little bit every day in the beginning to make it grow. If you just do it 2 hours one day and then wait for 2 months, then it's a bit slow to restart. So read a bit every day. And then you can also learn a lot from music notation software, because then you can write in the score you want to play, and then the computer will play it for you. But in a way, then you're also learning by ear, but at the same time you're seeing the music. So if you really focus and try to incorporate both the reading and the ear in that, I think that also can help you in learning how to read music on the harmonica. Right, the third question is a question I get a lot. It's my slider is sticky or getting stuck. Do you have any help? I don't know, but a few tips is that never eat or drink while playing your chromatic harmonica. You can drink water or coffee and tea at the same time, but just eating a sandwich and playing at the same time can really mess up the slider. It can make it really sticky, because in there the distances are so small, so everything that gets in there will clog up the instrument. And then I also recommend you to clean the slider gently. You take it apart, and then you just, I use tap water, and then hot water, and I just scrub it clean. Sometimes I use some kind of soap, but it's not that often. And then you can also put some slide oil, not so much, just a little bit. Use a safe oil is very important. You cannot use other instrument oils like trumpet oils and stuff. You have to use a mineral oil. But you can, check into this, which one you can use. I use the Suzuki chromatic harmonica slide oil. It works perfect. And slider systems, they get stuck because it's mechanics, and you press and you move, and it's like this is movement, and every movement gets stuck someday. But those are my main tips. And also store your harmonic or chromatic in a case while you're not playing, because even if you have a very clean home, dust and stuff can get into the mouthpiece that you don't see, but that will make it sticky. And also, if a chromatic has been laying around for a long time and not been played, that slider can also be really sticky. So that's some things to think about. But then also, it's really annoying when the slider is sticky. I know, but it's also what affects the playing, because sometimes I can have a bit of slow slider, but I don't. Then I just play and the gig starts and I don't notice it. And after the gig, the slider is perfect. So maybe the slider just had to warm up, or I had to warm up, or something. And it's also about how you press on the slider, because if you press very hard, like this, and play, you will hear the slider. But if you have a gentle or kind of solid grip and press more gently, you will not hear the slider so much. And also, I think this slider is pretty good. But I have worked a lot with how I press on the slider. But if I do like this, this slider is really noisy. And not sticky, but noisy. But I don't play like that. No, you play. So yeah, experiment around, spend time with how you want to kind of feel and press on the slider. That's also a big part of playing the chromatic. And I would also recommend, if you feel safe with doing it, to check the screws on the slider, because sometimes they are too tight, sometimes they are too loose, etc. Sometimes they're unbalanced. So it's really good if they are well positioned. That will also give you a much smoother slider. And actually, I think I do that almost more often. Check so the screws are in place than cleaning it. But I mean, if I play a lot, I clean the harmonicas every other week, maybe, or every week. But sometimes, I mean, I can have a harmonica that is not cleaned for 6 months and still works great. So it's, yeah, many things come in to that answer. How if you have a sticky chromatic harmonica slider, what to do. But these are my tips that I just said. If you like this video and want to develop your harmonica playing, very welcome to check out my Patreon page, patreon.com/philipjersharmonica. There I have over 15 hours of harmonica video lessons, lots of PDFs with exercises, scales, arpeggios, etc. that you can download. And yeah, welcome to check out the page if you're interested. Question number 4 is, do you tune your chromatics? Yes, I do, if they need to be tuned, but recently the ones from Suzuki have been so good in tune, so I have not been needing to retune them at all. I think they are really good. And but if a reed is going flat, I mean, I have to tune it up. If I really hear, oh, that's wrong. So yeah, then I tune them. But I mean, not often. These harmonicas have been working so great, so I'm so happy for that. But also, sometimes if you get a new instrument and you feel, oh, the harmonica is totally out of tune, you really should spend a lot of time with the instrument before you judge it, because you really got to learn how to feel the reeds and to feel the air pressure and the position of the tongue and everything, how the harmonica should be played when it sings. Because even if this harmonica is pretty good tuned, if I play that same thing, I can play that with bad tuning. If I just play with the wrong pressure, you know. Oh, that G is out of tune. Is it? No, it's not. I just have to intonate it. And that's also interesting, because we harmonica players, everyone has a different sized oral cavity and different kind of lungs and air pressure and everything. So I mean, if I tune a harmonica for you, it might not be in tune. And if you tune one for me, I might not play it in tune directly. So you really got to learn the harmonica and you. I think that's really important, that you don't just think that harmonica is like a keyboard, that you press a note and then it's perfect in tune. I don't think that is true. Harmonica is also an intonation instrument, not on the same way as a violin, of course, but I mean, if you compare it to clarinet and flute, saxophone, trumpet, those are also intonation instruments. And what those instruments can do, they can go higher in pitch. That's a thing that's very hard on the harmonica. We can almost only go lower. If you hear, we can intonate down, a little bit up, but it's really hard. Not so much. So yeah, that's also why many harmonicas are tuned a bit higher than 440 or something. They are tuned higher so we can intonate down. And yeah, but tuning is a big subject. Oh my. But I would really recommend you to play a lot on your instrument before you start to retune it, if it's a new one. But if it's an old one and it's starting to go out of tune, you should have it retuned. Or maybe you need to swap the reed plates. I mean, because things wear out as well on harmonicas. Last question for this video is what is most important to study, arpeggios or scales? Both is my answer, because if you study both, I mean, you will learn, the more you study one of them, you will learn about the other. So, I mean, if we are playing, take D minor. That's a D minor Dorian scale. Now I will play the D minor 7 arpeggio. And then I kind of fill in the small notes in between. So there I have the scale, just adding the missing notes, because the arpeggio was 4 notes and there were 3 notes missing to make it a scale. So I would really recommend you to study both scales and arpeggios in as many keys as possible and all over the instrument. And it takes time, but it's really, really worth it, because it's so nice to be able to transpose and play stuff in every key and all of that. Your language as an improviser and your possibilities will really, really grow. And I mean, there are different ways you can play the scales up and down. You can play them in stepwise. In thirds. Fourths. Fifths. Sixths. There I went to tongue blocking. You can do it in sevenths. Doing that will also teach you a lot about the scale, and doing that in every key all over. And then for the arpeggios, it's great just to play them just up and down, and then you can combine them. You can do another pattern. All of this will really teach you like the grammar of every key and of every note that belongs to that key. So yeah, practicing both scales and arpeggios is a really good thing to do. And if you get bored by just playing scales mechanically up and down to a metronome, that is totally okay. I get bored to that. So I often kind of do different exercises. I don't know if it's an exercise, just playing around. But if I want to practice E, harmonic minor, I might play. Just playing every note and finding the resonance and trying to play it beautiful. And then also kind of improvising around on the scales are really good things to do. And if you can find a drone note from a backing track, and then you can really feel and hear the scale, how it sounds inside you. And I think that is really a a great experience if you want to get into improvising as well, because really knowing and feeling the scales and having like a emotional contact to them is way more important than just being able to play them, you know. At least for me. It's also important to play things to a click and super tight and super good. But yeah, music is about feelings. So I think it's really good to listen to the scales slow and really feel every note and take your time on them. That's also one of my tips when practicing scales. Alright, that's everything for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Have fun, keep practicing, and bye bye.